Hello everyone, my name is Cameron Cowan. This is the Cameron Cowan Show. I am sure this video is going to get me a few angry comments, a few nasty mentions on Twitter, maybe some nasty Facebook comments. I get it. I'm attacking what has kind of become an online sacred cow, and that is resource-based economies. Now, I watched the original Zeitgeist film way back in 2007 or 8 when I was in college, and I was absolutely enthralled by their analysis of people, the environment, society. It was everything a young, hopeful, idealistic 20-something me wanted to hear. And this has still remained true for a lot of people when people kind of figure out like how the world works and how things are connected and who's in charge of things, and that the way they thought things would work may not necessarily be the way things actually work. It's quite shocking to a lot of people, and for those of us kind of already in the know, we're kind of like, oh yeah, we knew that, and welcome to the club, and have a beer and all this type of thing. However, within the Zeitgeist movement, there is this big component called the resource-based economy. And if you read around online, anybody who talks about, we need to especially to get rid of the Federal Reserve crowd, you'll quickly start hearing about, we need to move to a resource-based economy and get rid of money. You'll even find some of the Bitcoin people and the blockchain people who are into that. We need to go to a resource-based economy where everyone contributes resources and that becomes our medium of exchange. If we even need a medium of exchange. Everyone's basic needs should be taken care of, and as long as you're contributing to society in some way, then you should be able to get everything that you need. However, there's a couple difficulties with the resource-based economy. One is there are certain jobs people do not want to do, and you have to financially incentivize people to do them, like mining coal. Last week's video was about the death of coal, and how it kills people, more people than nuclear will ever hope to. All this type of thing. You have medical jobs, you have manufacturing jobs that people are not going to naturally be inclined to do. No one wants to put, chicken in a package in a Chinese factory all day long. Nobody necessarily wants to do some of the menial jobs that keep our civilization going, but guess what? Those jobs need to be done. We have used money as a way to make sure that those jobs get done. A resource-based economy is not necessarily going to guarantee that those jobs are still going to get done. That's problem A. 2, it's hard to manage with there not being a mechanism to make sure that goods and services are moving in a fair way and that there are contracts and all this type of thing. Disputes are going to rise up, and disputes take time and money, and that means people could be going without something because there's a problem. Not that we don't suffer from this now, but imagine this on a large scale. Imagine if there is a problem with, the flour and bread company or flour and bread people. That could be a huge problem, especially in a decentralized system, with no clear way to solve that dispute and get things moving along. You could end up people standing in the store with no food item there. The couple other problems is we have no regulations for worker safety or for public safety, because under this system, would the government still be regulating auto safety? Would the government still be regulating the safety of electrical outlets and plugs and things like this that are very important for reducing the chance of fire and all this type of thing? A lot of times in this economy, it becomes this decentralized kind of libertarian utopia, and it just doesn't work very well. I mean, of course, if no one's making any of these products, this may not necessarily be a problem, which they may be counting on. I may not have thought of that, but never us mind about that. There is a libertarian aspect that can be a bit wonky. There's no guarantee that we'll have everything that we need, and even just basic needs, which I'm not sure that any of us want to live in a society with just, food, water, and simple shelter. and maybe a connection to the internet. I don't know that any of us wants to live long-term in that way, but there's no way to guarantee everything we need because there's no incentive for people to provide those things. There's no incentive for someone to make a camera, make a tripod, make a laptop, produce information for me to bring to you without the financial incentive. And then the last thing that I think is the most difficult is even supposing all the other problems I have just mentioned to you all get solved, we find a way to incentivize people, all this type of thing, and we can make all that happen. There is no way, no clear path, no anything that I have ever read that says how a resource-based economy would ever be implemented. This is a huge problem. You have this wonderful idea, you have this way to provide for everyone, get rid of income inequality, kind of solve all these problems, but with no actual plan to, here's what you have to do, here are the policies you have to put in place, here's what you have to get people to do, here's how you have to, do all these things. At least Marx had the common courtesy to tell us how to create communism. And Trotsky, how to create communism, and Lenin, how to implement communist and Marxist policies. At least they had to be all right, here's what you need to do. Workers need to unite, you need to overthrow the bourgeoisie, you need to have government-owned means of production, you need to have central control of your economy. They set out a plan on how to do that. The resource-based economy people seem not to have that piece in place. And I think that's the most damning part. On the side of, we have other tools in the toolbox. We can use universal basic income, we can raise minimum wage, we can reduce the emphasis on labor and increase the emphasis on capital, we can do things to make the world economy work for everyone and not just the few, and I'm talking about developed nations when I say that. There are different tools we can use rather than saying, well, money's stupid, so let's just get rid of that and try something else. That may or may not work, that may or may not be disastrous. And I'm not saying that we don't need to take care of everyone in a resource-based economy, whether that maybe trading, bartering, and having all work matter and be valuable isn't a good idea. But I don't think we can take a resource-based economy seriously until real plans for how it would be implemented are put in place. Comment below, I know you will. Catch me on social media at Cameron Cowan, Facebook.com/The Cameron Cowan Show, and for all the news you need to know in 10 minutes or less and why you should care about it, catch me here every Monday and Friday. We'll talk soon now. Bye-bye.